Welcome to the Caster Desk. I'm Quickshot, joined by Ender, and it's a bit of a somber start to the day. After the craziness of 8 weeks where literally every team was still in contention at the beginning of yesterday, now to see Misfits and Vitality going head-to-head with other teams' lives on the line, it's a bit of a strange turn, and I'm interested to see how these teams are going to perform.
Well, I will say from what I've seen, from coaching staff and players talking on social media, seems like both teams still very much want to take this serious. They know the implication it has on the playoffs race, especially for Schalke. So these teams are looking to go out on a strong foot.
Well, let's see how they perform today. It will be Misfits on the blue side and Vitality on the red side. I never know if we should talk over that music.
Never talk over it. Honestly, our voices are just worse than the music. Like, we just have to accept that, Trevor.
I think your voice is lovely, Mr. Frierson.
Thanks.
What have you thought of the drafts this weekend, by the way? And specifically, I didn't think Caitlyn was as apparent last weekend as she is this weekend. Like, we saw her less presence-wise, right?
Yeah, so I have a theory that I feel like pro play, in reality, we're only ever one patch behind the live server. You know, when a patch goes out, we wait like a full week before we end up playing it. But I feel like teams are actually 2 patches behind because for the whole week, they spend scrimming, already being a week behind. And then another week, they only have like 3 or 4 days to try and put together some new strategies. So I feel like we're always really lagging behind when it comes to adopting new picks.
And then players themselves tend to be hesitant to change, shall we say. I have seen more than, I believe, an appropriate amount of pro players who are just adamant that their perspective and their belief is accurate when there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. But let's jump into the draft as Kalista Thresh Volleyball taken away from Misfits into GP Azir Morg, and it'll be a first pick Caitlyn if this gets
Kobbe's a Caitlyn believer, and in his game yesterday, he was absolutely on fire on that one. It was not a win for Misfits, but he was trying to hold the line, trying to carry in those team fights. You can see it's not just the Caitlyn early game that can be strong. Her headshots later on can almost one-shot squishies.
Ooh, okay, so Comp has played Ashe once before, and yesterday there was a bit of subtext around why we're not seeing more Ashes, because Jhin seems to be the flavor of EU, but what's your take on Ashe into Kate?
Yeah, so I really like Ashe into Caitlyn. I think Ashe can do a better job over Jhin for pushing for wave control in the early stages of the lane. The one area where you are going to lack a bit, I think, is the all-in potential of like a Jhin who has access to the W that gives you immediate CC to set up for your jungler. But then post-level 6, you're obviously going to prefer an Ashe arrow over a Jhin ultimate. So I think it's a very strong pick that can try to rival Caitlyn in range, even if you can't quite match it, and through her W, beat her sometimes.
Okay, let's see how well Comp can land those arrows. As we turn our attention, Bard as well as Ornn. So this will be the 3rd Bard game for denyk. He's played 1 set, 1 Alistair. I'd like to see development on that champion and interaction with the rest of the team.
Sure.
I think you and I have thrown our hands up in frustration and disbelief a few times in the past, but we heard Robert Yip talking. They had a lot of problems to solve. Some was decision-making, some was players, and it didn't work out.
We've certainly seen a lot of coordination issues, I feel like, for Misfits in the summer split, which is weird because, again, we talk about how good of a start they got out to in spring. It felt like they had this inbuilt synergy with players from the ERLs, and then it just didn't quite click for them this split. That being said, I do really like Bard and Ornn as a combination. That non-committal engage from long range can prey on an Ashe very easily.
Yeah, and of course, like you said, non-committal. If they don't hit it, which is likely, then they don't have to go in. But I'm seeing, is it fair to say a little bit of a pick setup? Like Vitality got the option to just assassinate people with the arrow, with set potentially coming around from the flanks, with LeBlanc playing in the darkness. So definitely got themselves some tools, and there's the Nautilus around the bottom.
Yeah, they have a lot of very obvious tools to look for fights, search out engagements without even committing their ultimate forward. So it's all about controlling vision in the river and in, the very early stages of the enemy jungle if you want to make this work.
Oh, Cabochard's going to play a beefy tank top. I know he's been doing it all split long, but into the Ornn, what is his option going to be? Probably the Sion. That's something we've been seeing a fair amount recently. Ornn into Sion. Yay. It'll be a Syndra in the mid lane going into Milica's LeBlanc, and that will be the 3rd Syndra of the split here for Febiven. Yesterday also, was it yesterday where Caps got Syndra, or maybe the day before? It was mind-boggling the difference in skill expression that you can see with a similar champion. Similar to like Abadage's Zoe, you know?
Yeah.
Contrast to other people's Zoes.
And I really like with the Syndra, you have the Caitlyn, it's a bunch of pushing lanes around mid and bot lane. This is where an Olaf pick actually is going to fit in very nicely. Misfits basically say with that, we want to make sure we win any sort of engagement around the bottom side of the map. This allows Caitlyn and Bard to push up. You can play for enemy blue buffs, but mainly Misfits want to control early Drakes. This is a Drake-focused meta. With an Olaf and a Caitlyn Bard, you should be getting Drake 1 and 2 almost uncontested.
And if they don't, that's problem signs, right?
Yes.
We'll see how they work that out. Let's zoom out then and talk about the Vitality comp. What do you make of this?
What do I make of this? Well, Cabochard's playing his Sion one more time.
That's not a surprise to anybody.
Yeah, I do like the Sion for Cabochard. One play that Vitality love to run with the Sion is Sion hits 6, and then he walks into bot lane. Forget the TP, you just drive into bot lane, and when you have a Nautilus and an Ashe, that's a very good setup to try and get plays and turn around the larger engagements. Whereas if we're looking at the smaller skirmishes, that's again where Misfits are going to win out.
Okay, let's hope for lots of early game action. I would absolutely love for something to happen, but if you're just going to be pushing lanes, get a tower, go Drake, then we'll see map movements instead. Misfits Gaming and Vitality are eliminated from playoffs, and as Medic explained in Ready Check, there are implications because of head-to-heads and our tiebreaker rules on what this has for Schalke. If you missed that, go back and check it out. For now, it's Misfits versus Vitality. And we're onto the Rift, and I'm not going to lie, I do feel a little bit sad that the summer season is drawing to a close. We've already eliminated 3 teams. Looking forward to playoffs. It's going to be hype, but I always get that, like, not FOMO, but like end of season blue, end of regular season.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, we have playoffs still, right?
Yes,
so
we do.
I wait until we get to the very end before we start getting set. It's like right when, you know, the Nexus falls in Game 5 of the summer playoffs that things start to look down, but then we have Worlds to look forward to after that, and we have 4 teams this year.
I've just, in my older age, I now cry a lot and a lot of different things. Like, things just set me off.
What was the most recent cry you had?
I'm starting to feel emotional.
Expose yourself to 1 million viewers.
It was an anime. It was an anime movie that I can't remember the name of right now. Silent Voice. Silent Voice. Super, super insane movie. Very emotional. And what is our replay?
What is this replay?
So
wait, Cabochard flat.
He flashed. Wait, thank you, observers. So
talking about crying.
Okay, now what was that for? If we look at the minimap, instead of me talking absolute nonsense here, Cabochard's helped out Skeanz. And thank you, Observer Team. He literally flashed in, did nothing, and then left. So
they were trying to like set up a cheese because the rest of the team was walking in on the invade, and Sion's Q at level 1. If he's able to hide in a bush and land that is really insane. But
zombie red buff steal, if they started red, maybe like Giga cheese. Not the case though. So instead, Skeanz has started on his red. He's now gone to blue. You can see Razork has done the same on his side of the map. And you talked about the pushing lanes and some of the early game tools that are going to be in the Misfits camp. Let's turn our attention to Razork. Where do you want him to, make his moves? And how can he synergize with the team? Because that was something that's been lacking almost.
Yeah, well, again, I think Razork is going to be looking to play a mid-bot focused game. Top lane, you just don't care about it, which is why already we're seeing some interesting pathing for the Olaf, because a lot of Olafs will either, do 3 camps and then try to invade, or just go top to bot, bot to top, like straight in a line to clear their camps, whereas Razork went blue to red and is now pathing back down. So at level 4, he wants to be bot side for the crab. Here we go.
Well, there is the dredge line. Flash comes out, pulled backwards, and Rangers focus, plus the volley. Comp easily picks up the kill, and that was just really well executed.
Yeah, it was really nice setup there, and I think there's just a missed window there where Razork's like, hey, guys, play safe for the moment. I'm going to be down in about 40 seconds, and then we can play aggressively. And Misfits weren't even pushed up in the lane. It was just chain CC, really difficult to deal with there with the Nautilus and the set.
Flash blown from denyk, heal from Kobbe, so another juicy target if the opportunity presents itself. And Skeanz with the early play, getting the advantage for Vitality.
This is problematic for Misfits now as well, because Razork, again, wanted to play for that early bot side Scuttle Crab, and we talk about this all the time, and I think it was Perks in one of the interviews we had with him where he was talking about how do you beat Caitlyn. It's actually just attack that lane early on, and because Skeanz understood that, hey, at level 3, Olaf isn't going to be around here, I can actually attack. I'm stronger at level 3 going for a gank. He was able to disrupt that very early on and put Comp in a position where he can go back to base, now get Berserker Greaves, whereas Kobbe, you know, still hasn't gone back, isn't sitting on a whole lot of money. He's only got 700, 800 gold, so can't even get really anything of value.
Excuse my ignorance on this one now, right? But I'm trying to figure out what this Cabochard Flash of the Wall could have done. If, I didn't see the timing on it, right? But like, is there any world in which he was able to pick up any information that could allow Skeanz to kind of track down there if you know the route that Olaf's going to go? Or
I mean, they didn't really place a ward on the red buff.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they had a ward like right outside the red buff camp. I actually think the level 1 was all about like choosing for a kill, and that was pretty much it. And then maybe if you get the kill, then you commit to an invade. But if you don't get a kill, you don't want to commit to an invade against an Olaf because that's just a losing battle.
Exactly. Okay, well, benefit of the doubt, and we'll see. Maybe we'll get to talk to Cabochard a little bit later. Middle lane, by the way, at the moment, Milica currently shoving forward. Febiven level 5. Obviously, early levels, not the greatest wave clear from Syndra. That's going to ramp up over time. And he's sitting with TP. And Milica was one of the players that we've spoken about extensively on Vitality. Him plus Skeanz, kind of the hope, was where the hope was in the Vitality squad as they started to pick up some wins on the second half of the split. And unfortunately, not going to be seeing them in playoffs, but let's see what they can do today as Cabo's going to get jumped on by Dandan.
I do really like what Labrov was doing down towards the bottom side off the reset. Put down a lot of vision in the bot side jungle because for Vitality, it is all about tracking Razork in the early game. And if you see him walk into the river where it's like either he's invading or he's on the dragon, and Vitality want to stop Misfits from snowballing those early drakes. You can see Razork just wasting a lot of time. His camps are up. He doesn't really have anything to do other than farm and is worried that, hey, this Nautilus still hasn't shown in the bot lane. Where the heck is that guy? And here comes the play. Now he's got to be worried.
All right, Hex Flash for Skeanz. Flash for Labrov. I was wondering if they were going to make any moves. Did not right now, just setting up that vision. And what I like about this, by the way, is in the draft, you talked about how the Misfits comp could make those plays for Dragons. And Vitality are kind of contesting that possibility as Skeanz will be able to get some damage on Febiven, but he, this time around, walks away early enough. But the big thing I wanted to call out was that Vitality are aware of the potential threat there and setting up some vision and some plays to try and challenge.
Honestly, I'm just looking at Skeanz' setup here. He went for Swifty Boots on the first base. He's got Nimbus Cloak. He's got Hex Flash. He's got Celerity to buff his Swiftness Boots. It's just unfair. Febiven couldn't run away and now has 0 HP left, but Milica no mana. Febiven shouldn't be too threatened. We'll have to base here, though, because Skeanz, in theory, could be waiting over there with another Hex Flash.
Do you like the decision-making? Because you've argued at the beginning of the split with players' decisions and itemizations, and this weekend, you've actually been very excited and very happy for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, so I think first item, full Swiftness Boots, is a little
bold.
Is a little bold, I would say, because it can, do things like harm your jungle clear and whatnot. So Skeanz would want to make this pay off by playing aggressively, and that's what we're going to see him do by walking to the jungle. But Razork has Red Smite and Cinderhulk. Like, he can smite
and he's
it.
got shoes. Run quick, Skeanz. That's all you can really do. I realized we did lose game sounds for a moment or two, but it is back for now. And now denyk, no flash. So do they fancy this? Level 6 for Comp. Crystal Arrow between the uprights. Nothing security. Here comes Cabochard as well. The unstoppable onslaught. And he's on another invade all alone. He will get run down. Vitality left him out to dry. When the skill shots don't hit, managed to see one of those plays, and Misfits on the board with a brief donation from Cabochard.
I'm sensing a pattern here, because at level 1, Cabochard flashed over the wall for nothing. And this one, he just doesn't stop driving. Like he's taking the foot off the edge. He's like, what's wrong with my car? The Ashe Arrow, of course, did not connect. Thank you for the cinematic view. As we watch him just
It's actually such a BM replay. It really is.
I love that our observers can just flame our players without saying anything. It's just how they do the game.
It's absolutely fantastic. Smurfing on broadcast as the unstoppable onslaught is used to chuck down.
Look at his mouth. He's like, arr, arr, arr.
The other thing as well that's really important for viewers to know is that while we do obviously have some fun with these replays most of the time, the observers are very aware of what is happening, what's around. So if you're getting some juicy stuff, trust that nothing is happening in the background, and if it is, they will cut out immediately. But that was so worth seeing Cabochard's face. Nevertheless, no dragon secured, by the way. Nothing pushed just yet, and it will be a Rift Herald here on behalf of Misfits. No one around to challenge with Vitality. Comp and Labrov have swapped, though. They've gone to the top lane.
Yeah, so I do feel like Misfits, things did slow down more than they would have liked to because they weren't able to play for an early Drake, but the other goal of a Caitlyn composition is to play for early turret plates. That didn't work bot side because of the early gank and because Ashe, again, can contest the wave much better than a Caitlyn can. You can see her volley very effective because it's such a wide cone. You can hit 3 or 4 minions and also poke out the enemy, so they don't want to step up very easily either. So they do have control over the waves here, and it's just about Misfits finding an opportunity to place that Herald and get a couple $100.
Are you a little surprised by that? Because it has felt like Milica's kind of had the push a little bit in mid lane when we've been watching, and bottom lane Comp and Labrov obviously playing very well. But yeah, the question was, are you surprised?
Well, by the mid lane
just by Vitality, how they're playing this laning phase out, because I was anticipating a bit more pushing lanes on the Misfits side.
Yeah, I feel like because of how Skeanz pathed for the early gank, it just slowed a lot down.
Okay.
And the other thing to factor in is that Labrov on Nautilus made a concerted effort at 4 or 5 minutes to go and put wards all over Misfits jungle and to put pressure in river, whereas denyk's Bard did not match that. So I think because of the early gank, we're seeing this ripple effect now where it is not just affected bot lane, but also the jungle matchup and the mid lane matchup to an extent.
Got it. And now all of Vitality are going to go through the mid lane.
I mean, just look at the red wards on Vitality's side. It's just like control wards all the way top to bottom. No. No, look out. No, stop driving the car into the enemy team.
Is it possible to enhance to see those red wards? Do you have that capability?
No, that's not how we do it, Trevor.
Come on. Trying to teach you the ways of Vedius with the in-game graphics tool, but
it's a terrible... No.
It's awesome. I thought it was fantastic.
I think the viewing experience is sacred, and I don't want to ruin that by doing some random super zoom on the mini-map.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that one. Cabochard, by the way, just clearing out this wave. Rift Herald dropped in the top lane. They'll get a few more plates here. Drop down to 1, and look at the support from Vitality.
What?
Tempered Fate catches Labrov. He wasn't able to get over the wall, and now Skeanz going to step forward. Dredge line not going to connect. And Vitality unable to catch any prey in the top lane. 10 minutes gone, 1,000 gold lead to Misfits.
Bit of a misplay there from Labrov. Thought he could escape from the Tempered Fate, but was unable to. So Misfits are going to get out no problem. Now, Herald did go down in top lane. That's a lot of money for them. You can see the gold already starting to swing, whereas Vitality had the gold lead ever since that early kill, with Cabochard also running up into the top lane as well. There's no one in bot side too, so Dan's able to pick up some money as well, negate the one wave disadvantage he has over Cabo.
And of course, with Vitality picking up that first Drake, they've started that timer for the next one. We'll see whether or not we have any engages around there. I think there's a number of engaged tools on both sides of the Rift. But it's just a really, skirmish-heavy bot lane.
Yeah.
And not a lot else.
I do also want to say that we're seeing Skeanz fall behind a lot in CS, and this is normal against an Olaf, but I think it's been blown a little bit out of proportion because of the early swiftness boots that Skeanz has gone for. He's also just been very aggressive. He's not full clearing his jungle and then looking for plays. He has his 2 highest EXP camps still on the map and is running around with Labrov because they want to force a fight.
Yeah, he does. Very nice cosmic binding from denyk there. Timed it perfectly with the Hex Flash. Now, Comp still has his arrow available. ECA can find a target. Piltover Peacemaker goes out for a little bit of wave clear. Look at the minimap. Skeanz has started to back away, and Febiven was nearby. So, Vitality this time around, don't pull the trigger, they hold on.
Hello.
Let's see what happens. That's tag. That's going to be a long stun. That's a dash over the wall. Chains as well is going to be able to court out. That's a fantastic scatter the weak into the...
here's Razork on the flank.
Really well played by Febiven, managing to use everything at the right time. Skeanz goes in with a showstopper, gets the dunk, and that will be a kill for Misfits. That was exceptionally well played by Febiven.
Yeah, very nicely done by him. Both knocking Skeanz away after he got unCC'd, but also winning in the shop. He went for the early Merc Charge, I think is a really high value buy just in the 1v1 lane against LeBlanc. Can mean you dodge E's as well as just get that flat MR that is super effective. And also that Ashe R, which is such an insanely long CC duration from long range. Merc Treads, giga high value versus that.
Okay, so Misfits now 2,000 gold up. They're starting to build up CS advantage in the mid lane. They've got a couple plates under their belt. And I want to see how they use this lead, where they try to put their power. Razork is... I'm waiting for him to do something, but he's just power farming.
I mean, I'm not even waiting for Razork to do something. I'm waiting for Skeanz to finish his item. We're 13 minutes in, and he doesn't have a jungle item. Dude!
So definitely got baited by the shopkeeper this time around.
I mean, he got baited by his lanes being like, hey, we can get 1,000,000 kills, and then he only got the kill at level 3 and hasn't gotten anything since. And now you can see the tide start to turn. This is now where Razork has this huge, because it's a 2-level lead as well. It's not just the items, but it means Razork can play super aggro down towards this bottom side of the jungle. Like, I would love to see him walk in and commit towards a blue buff or something, but I think he just wants to set up a pick on Skeanz.
And this is what you described in Champ Select, how the Misfits draft can work. We saw the push up there into the tower, Kobbe hammering away. Razork will have some support from denyk as Milica comes over the wall. And it looked like Kobbe was just bailing on that bottom tower as the minions ran out. But nevertheless, like, the potential was there. They could have gone under the tower if anybody came to check. denyk and Razork were available, and now there's a potential engaged middle. Tempered Fate is up. And denyk has used that once or twice already.
But again, you have to examine the fallout too, because of all the pressure Misfits put down towards that blue buff, Comp had to take a reset, so now he's going to lose minions. I was wondering if Misfits were going to commit towards the push. They're not going to do that, even with the turret plates falling down, but it still will mean minions lost for Comp. Febiven building up a big advantage in mid lane as well. So while this game has felt like the teams are playing close, it's because Vitality are kind of like peacocking, right? They're like putting out a lot of pressure on the map without actually doing much of anything, while Misfits are just farming up.
Sorry, did you just say peacocking? That is such a good term. That is fantastic. I don't think I've actually ever heard that in a casting environment, but that was really nicely done. Comp, by the way, since we talked about him so much, on the Ashe, I got a note from our stats team and Mr. Dracos that European Ashes suck in summer. 0-8 with a negative CSD and a negative goal difference. This time around, Comp actually is currently in the lead. I didn't check his final numbers, but already a stronger performance than what we've seen historically here.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Best news Schalke has heard all day is that Vitality drafted the Ashe, apparently.
And when this happened yesterday with Abadage, EU Zoe and then Abadage Zoe, he was able to pop off. So let's see if Comp can do the same. Do Misfits want this fight?
I think so. So the thing is, Dandan's resetting right now, and Febiven isn't quite back onto the map, so I don't think they're going to be able to take it, but they're up 3,000 gold. I don't see why they wouldn't want to fight right here. To be fair, you know, both teams have finished their first item, so it's not like there's a huge itemization disparity, but I think just looking at the levels between the junglers and, of course, level 11 Syndra means a whole lot of damage. You can tear through one player. Here we go, bot lane.
All right, Nautilus ult, Ashe ult, Tempered Fate manages to interrupt as well as Labrov, but here comes Cabo. He's TP'd him from behind. Razork forced to flash defensively, and Kobbe stays alive a few seconds longer. Milica gets the kill. Febi's late to the party, as is Dandan. And Call of the Forge God will simply not matter. Vitality get 2.
Yeah, we could see that coming a mile away, where Vitality were the first on the play with the mid lane. They're still going forward.
Yeah, that's going to be just for wave clear here. Dandan really trying to use the turret to his advantage. Magical Journey used against Misfits. The chains connect. So does the ulti as well. Milica will go down. Febi eliminating Milica. And now turns the pressure onto Cabo. Vitality have now overchased. Double stun. They're on the boss cone though, and they may be able to escape. Not going to chase further.
All right, Vitality getting a little excited there after the initial kill. Milica really diving on in, but Febiven had the ult the entire time because, again, he was so late to that fight in bot side because he took a really late reset before that Drake. Milica was already way out onto the map, so it enabled Vitality to play for this. Actually, they had Milica reset before this one, so it would be a double teleport eventually in. You do see Tempered Fate really effective against the Nautilus and the Ashe there, allows Kobbe to get out for the time being, but that's when this late TP from Milica comes in on the fight. They can remove Kobbe from the start, and because of Febiven's positioning, Misfits have 0 damage. So they can't turn this one around because Febiven doesn't have anyone to block skill shots. You can see the Nautilus hook zones him away from that fight, and then this is where Vitality go a little bit too hard.
Maybe Cabo. Maybe it's just Cabo for a touch.
I will say Dandan's ultimate to clear the wave was pretty clutch.
Yes.
But
And Febiven again, under pressure, managing to connect everything, and despite Cabo flashing over.
Wait, that was, okay, so his R sort of, it looks like really sus right there. He started pressing R right at the same time Milica snapped back. Syndra didn't get buffed to have 8 billion range on her ultimate. That's not the buff she needs, people.
Let's see what happens now, as Misfits are still in somewhat of a driving seat, but in terms of the one question I haven't asked yet is going to be scaling on the sides. I think on both sides they will scale a little differently, right? But who do you prefer?
Okay, so Vitality have a really strong front line to set up for comp, and I actually think there's not a lot of immediate CC tools over for Misfits. That is always going to make a LeBlanc feel really high value. There's 3 targets she can hit there as well, so I like a lot of what Vitality have in terms of overall scaling options, but Syndra is a lot of damage.
It is indeed. Stopwatch will help out for Labrov. Timing is very good there, and denyk will actually get the last hit. So, back to...
You don't need to scale if you can just,
yeah, exactly.
shot people.
I mean, 2-0-2. Febiven is showing off a little. Milica will not land the chain. Kobbe's able to sidestep that one. And I'd like to start to say goodbye to these teams. It's the last game.
Bye, teams.
It's one of these things where it's like... I literally don't know what to say and what direction to go. Because
I think you just appreciate the game itself.
For Misfits, they had 2 additional wins they should have had against Fnatic, right? And imagine how different this split could have gone had they been able to close those games out, and they didn't.
Boy, here we go!
Now in the situation, and now Skeanz will get jumped on with the showstopper correction, manages to bring Kobbe all the way back to Vitality. Febiven running for his life once again, will get Milica with the ultimate, but not enough to kill him. Dan is later to the party, and Razork cannot close it out. With no mid, no bot, there's no chance for Misfits. Vitality get 3.
That was a crazy flank there from Skeanz. Vitality not going to be able to show. Cabo's going to take that.
I really thought he was. I really thought he was.
The way Cabo was playing this entire game, you'd be like, yeah, sure, I'm a tanky, I can do that one. But Vitality absolutely smash in the fight. And we're at a point where Vitality, they've already got 2 Drakes. There's going to be another fight coming up very soon, it feels like, around this Mountain Dragon. And they've got 3 gigantic tanks. This could not be a better buff to look for if you're Vitality.
Exactly the case. And it's going to have to be a fight here for Misfits. They have not really been initiating a lot. I think they've responded fairly well to what Vitality had done. They had that really good push down in the bottom lane. Infinity Edge was completed for Kobbe. He's working towards second upgrade. Comp has got the Hurricane as well, so 2 item spikes starting to filter through, and level 11 as well. 10 seconds for the fight. Let's look at the setup and the vision. Again, Vitality, I think, with a little bit of an advantage and a little extra vision to work with.
I also think we're sort of past the point where Razork having the lead on the Olaf early is going to mean a whole lot. The team fight's really hard for him to make an impact, especially with this full tank Olaf. So Misfits just going to be deathballing for the time being. There are a couple ultimates still on cooldown for Vitality. They're trying to wait before they get up. So neither team really wants to commit, because even Misfits don't have the Ornn just yet.
And also, if you get caught inside the pit against either Sion or Ornn, when they're available, that is a difficult situation to get away from. Febiven is going to be pushing, waiting to look for a target, as the wave was now pushed in middle.
Good poke.
Milica gets tagged. I mean, that's all the Ace in the Hole really does. Very rarely kill at the end of the day. Skeanz, he's got the Hex Flash inside the pit.
He's just going to pick up Kobbe.
Skeanz is going to jump in. He's going to deliver Kobbe once more. And it's happened already. Kobbe manages to escape. So do 4 members of Misfits. Inside the pit, though, Vitality will be able to pick up this 3rd Drake unless a magic happens. Razork goes in and steals it. The Smite fight is won, and it will cost him his life. But man, that magical journey saved all of Misfits.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Razork to get the smite at the end right there, but Vitality, the flank from Skeanz was so sick, just picking up Kobbe over the wall, almost getting that kill. That would have been absolutely huge.
And those Swifty boots paying off now, getting into position quickly enough. But in all seriousness, he's done that twice. So maybe it is going to work out. They're starting Baron.
I mean, Razork's dead for another 10 seconds. He doesn't have a flash to get in, and Milica can zone Misfits away from the pit.
Dan and denyk had their ultimates available. Tempered Fate goes out. That's just onto Baron to buy some time. The Ornn Horn can be called. Febiven's ulti still on cooldown. Dan's going to get rooted up, pulled back. Its chains aplenty. Now, if Dan can escape with his life, this is a job well done. They've interrupted and stopped the Baron. Call the Forge God comes up. Stun onto Cabo. Febi's ult is going to be up in a few seconds. They're going to try put Cabo back in the fountain. Magical journey. And it's just a matter of time. So very well played there by Misfits.
It's the mountain map. It's a Bard buff. He's got all these walls he can use. Milica looking for it. Will back away there, and Comp's Air not going to connect.
Man, Kobbe has dodged, dipped, ducked, and dived so many things. The only thing he can't get away from right now is Skeanz on that set. But almost
it's point and click. It's unfair.
All of those skill shots he can. Okay, now Misfits are on the Baron.
Okay, so Milica's going back to base. He has teleport to get in the fight. There's a lot of wards he can flank on towards. We're already down to 6,000 HP, though, and Skeanz only has a Hex Flash to get into the pit.
Febiven can interrupt Milica is holding on to it for now. Inside the pit, 2000 HP. Dredgeline connects onto Kobbe. You can't get away this time round. There comes Milica, blowing up Kobbe. Skeanz gets caught by Febiven's ulti inside the pit. The Baron is taken by Misfits.
That's the one.
Baron is taken by Misfits. I ran out of words. Magical Journey sends all of Vitality chasing down denyk and Dan. denyk will get dunked underneath the tower. And the last kill there onto Dan. Four Misfits members are down, but they did get the Baron.
All right, Misfits keep getting the objectives. Vitality keep getting the kills. Febiven, you gotta run, man. You have no mana left to fight in this one. But, I mean, that's all Misfits need, because even with the kills going over, Misfits are maintaining a gold lead thanks to that Baron buff going down. I actually really like to see how the gold is divided up for the time being, because, yeah, it looks like the big difference is actually going to be around the top lane for Dan. He's got a pretty sizable lead up there on the Ornn, and we're going to reach a point very soon where he's going to be able to hand out some items and make his teammates even stronger.
And we're getting to that 3-4 item point that Kobbe was on yesterday with that Caitlyn, where he was putting up a very big defense, but this game is significantly closer. And this is a fight on multiple fronts here.
Yeah, so right at the start, you have Vitality sort of poking around the pit. Beautiful hook there from Labrov. Max range on that one, especially with Milica coming around the side. There's just nowhere for the Caitlyn to go. Kobbe can't play this team fight because his team is his front line is inside of the pit. At the same time, Skeanz can't actually hack slash over the wall. He took damage too recently. What are we seeing from this one? Yeah, it's a good smite there coming through from Razork, but the team just sort of bundled up into the pit so they could try and burst it down and get that smite off and sacrifice their lives in the process.
The flanking and the target selection from Vitality has been fantastic. Between Skeanz, Milica, in that situation, Labrov as well, you know, working together. Vitality have got 11 kills. They've got an extra dragon, but this game is still bang on even, and it does feel like it's going to come down to those big objective team fights, whether it's Dragon Soul or whether it's the next Baron. Only the outer towers are down for now, and there's a lot of tools on both sides. 5-0-6 on Kobbe's Ashe, by the way. Remember, Ashe is 0-8 this summer in EU. And he's sending a big signal. This is how it's meant to be done.
Yeah, Vitality doing a good job right now in comp with 3 items too. Right before the Mountain Drake spawns will be big for them. Again, had they been a little bit more on top of the smite last time around, they could be playing First Soul on this one, but it will be delayed just a little bit. And I think the reminder here is how Vitality can access the Misfits backline, because that's always going to be Caitlyn's strength, is the range at which she can attack you from, but she doesn't get to actually use that if there's a Sion or there's a LeBlanc especially trying to find their way into the back. Where she has to kite back, that's where she's going to run into trouble.
Actually, when you think about that, the amount of tools that Vitality can have multiple champions coming from different angles, Kobbe's never going to be able to just stand and hammer away. And the amount of time it'll take to get through Cabo, it's going to be difficult. So more pressure then on Razork or Febi, or maybe even like denyk's Tempered Fate to try and find ways to reduce that impact. Yeah,
I think we've seen already that the Tempered Fate can be a really good answer into especially like an Ashe arrow from super long range, or like the Nautilus jumping in on top of that. But the problem for Kobbe is going to be like, Milica doesn't even have to kill him when he jumps into the fight. All he has to do is zone him away from the rest of the fight and reduce the DPS that Kobbe is actually able to put down.
Stop him auto-attacking, because nobody else in Misfits will be able to take down Cabo. And this is going to be Dan caught up by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Face plant here for Cabo. He's been able to push Febiven away. That's a good stun.
Milica's on the flank.
Febi.
Look at him. There's Kobbe.
Kobbe manages to get the damage down. Flash used. Labrov goes down. He used the ulti on Kobbe. But crucially, with Kobbe alive, Misfits can continue the push. The Tempered Fate not going to find a target because Vitality have peeled towards the Dragon at the cost of what will be most likely an inner turret.
I mean, Misfits are going to be able to collapse on them if they want to extend this fight. They have kills in front. Do they have the engage options? I don't think so. All their engagement tools are going to be on cooldown. Just trying to search out for a pick, and I think they're going to pick up the tower instead.
Yeah, definitely. So Dragon number 3 goes to Vitality. The fight goes the way of Misfits, but Flash and Heal used by Kobbe. So if Vitality can find a similar opportunity, that will be a dead Caitlyn.
Yeah, the thing is, Misfits can just sort of take the foot off the gas for a little bit, because you can just wait for the next Drake to spawn, and then all of a sudden, his flash is going to be back up. Those cooldowns going to line up almost perfectly. It did feel like a bit of a strange fight for Vitality, because they went very early with the Ashe arrow as well as the Sion ultimate, trying to pick off Febiven, I believe, but Milica was really far away from that fight. They also had really good vision around the bot side of the map that is still persisting there, leading into the Drake, so I would have preferred to see Vitality play with the fog of war better, as opposed to literally just running it down mid.
Well, they've been able to do that a few times this game already, and now with the 4-minute timer until the Mountain Soul spawns, you can be assured Misfits will want to contest over that one. And let's see how they play the vision game. Thus far, I think Vitality has had superior warding all game. If you look at the minimap again, pretty deep wards, a line of them. Obviously, I think those are, I think they may have been leftovers from the previous Dragon play you can see on the timer.
Yeah, those are the ones.
Yeah, definitely the case. But they've been working with more information. And I think Vitality have been playing the map a little better. But Misfits have been able to, you know, keep the gold up, keep their farm up. Huge advantages. They got a bunch of plates as well early on. And it's going to come down to these objective fights.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like it has been a little bit back and forth, and I think this is one of the reasons why, again, we're seeing two teams that failed to qualify it into the playoffs. They haven't been able to maintain pressure around areas of the map where they've, you know, had the opportunities to do so. So Vitality with Baron or with Dragon not on the cards for the moment, just going to steal away that blue buff, which I do like. Set up some vision again. Last time Misfits were able to sprint over towards that Baron and try starting that up after getting a kill on towards Cabochard, I believe it was. So Vitality don't want to allow that to happen again, because that definitely slowed things down for them.
Yeah, 10 seconds until that Baron spawns. The vision has been set up. Let's see if anyone's going to be bold enough to start it. They haven't played through the wave just yet, and while the vision's being contested, quick reminder, and I'm going to do my best medic impersonation here.
Okay.
But part of the reason, well, the reason why Vitality have been eliminated is based on the tiebreaker rules. Vitality could end up in multiple three-way ties or a four-way tie. And as the rules break down and looking at the wins-losses in the second half of the split, they are lower, and therefore it'll be seeded lower after those rules. And that's unfortunately why they're out. And right now, they want to be leaving on a high point at least, because they are in a position to take control of the game. And are they going to start this Baron? No, that's too bold.
No.
That's too bold.
And by a high point, you mean win so that Schalke have less scenarios in which they advance.
I do actually have the Schalke foldy sheets, and if you go look at the Lolly Sports Twitter, you can scroll back and find it.
How's he doing that? He's gold.
Managed to buffer that one just in time.
Nautilus can do it all. He can do it all.
Waiting on the flanks. He could come in with an unstoppable
I don't
force.
love just running it down mid, though. Again, people, like Vitality, you don't need to force a fight just yet.
Fog. There's the fog. Is this enough fog? How are they playing in the fog?
They shouldn't be running into Misfits.
Okay,
they need Misfits to run into them. That's what I'm trying to say when it comes to playing with fog. But again, Milica is up in the top lane, so Vitality are just going to give up full control by committing everything into the river. They've now lost everything in the river.
All of that vision setup now gets cleared. It resets.
Yeah,
and you need to do it all again.
I actually think like that's a play where Vitality are thinking, hey, it's good to get vision around the Baron. What they fail to realize is, hey, if we do this and we commit, well, we're actually just going to lose all of that immediately here. And Dragon, I think, is going to be the real objective for these teams. 1 minute away from that spawning. So Vitality look to control the mid wave and then play that towards the bot side jungle. Now, I think especially if they see Febiven show on this wave top lane, that's going to make it super, super easy. And that then enables Milica to play in this bot side river where there's no vision for Misfits and then find that perfect flank onto Kobbe.
40 seconds until that Dragon teleports up for Dan and Febiven. The top lane has been pushed. And Febiven's going to start to back away, spend what little he can just before this next fight breaks out. And Vitality, once again, are in control of the river, are in control of the vision.
That's a terrible teleport potentially.
Teleport's coming in, support is available. Milica will be able to connect with a chain, but there's no follow-up. Vitality couldn't risk getting closer. Misfits were responding quickly. And this is now Misfits walking into the bush. Dan gets caught up by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow.
Watch for Milica's flank over the wall. He's
down.
On vision in a second when he steps forward. But
Flash
for now, not.
and heal is available for Kobbe. He is the target. Dan escapes with his life. The Dragon's still untouched.
All right, Milica was seen, now fades back down. I really like this, just showing himself inside the enemy jungle. Febiven playing very cautiously, needs to wait for Razork to step forward here, and they're going to be able to burst this down. Razork can't get into the pit.
That's Soul. They're simply too late to the party. Vitality are going to have the benefit. With that buff on their shoulders, one could argue they are in control of the game. Now Misfits, they are now going to peel back towards Baron. They cleared out all of the Vitality vision just a few minutes ago. And now they're going to wait to maybe see if they can get Vitality pushing into them. Call of the Forge God is still available if Misfits wanted to start a fight.
You don't just have to force this right here, people, but Misfits going to chunk down towards Cabo. Could be some good damage.
Look at the team focusing down on Cabochard, getting caught by the undertow.
He's going to have to ulti.
Brittle, Bella's Breath. They get rid of the unstoppable onslaughts and honestly spend a lot of time wailing away. Now, if he's back in base, Misfits, do they fancy their shot? They're starting this off. It's in vision. Skeanz is alive and Cabo can't TP.
Yeah, but again, Misfits know they already cleared away all the wards inside the river, so now all they have to look out for is Skeanz popping over the wall. That's going to be a teleport in from Cabo, but without the ultimate, his impact so much lessened.
And look at all the Yordle snap traps as well. That's going to be frustrating to get through. Milica waiting on the flank. Follow Kobbe and Milica. That's going to be the target. Comp gets caught up by the Tempered Fate, and Skeanz looking for some damage.
Huge knockup.
Assassination. It's Febiven is the target, but Kobbe will be able to return the kill with the help of Razork. Now we turn back to the banana bush, and Dan is going to get pushed over the wall by Skeanz. A showstopper of note. Kobbe gets stuck. That magical journey was an awful journey for all of Misfits, and Vitality are looking to wipe Misfits. Kobbe is going to be running for his life.
No, he's not happy with it.
Unbelievable. Milica being able to find Febiven, I think with the help of Labrov there, starts to turn that whole fight. Febi's ulti still available.
Yeah,
didn't even get to fire it.
It was just such a good CC combo between, I believe, Cabochard, Labrov, Milica jumping in there too. And now Vitality get to start at the Baron. This is what they came for. We'll watch that fight again. It starts off, LeBlanc missed his Q on the wall, but that doesn't matter. Watch this flank here coming through from Cabo. I'm not sure if they actually know Febi's in this bush. I don't think they have the vision of it. Oh, he gets him with the sweeper. He realizes that the Febi is going to be there. Okay, and then this is where the collapse comes in because Febi is standing forward. Milica isn't shown for the time being, and now Vitality have them all grouped up in this bush. The control ward allows Cabo to fully charge that Q up, and they destroy Febiven.
Follow up as well. Denyk's magical journey just not helping out.
I watch this in a second. Labrov is going to cue the Ornn Q. I just thought that was funny. That was like the one big thing I noticed the first time.
Oh, man.
Because he landed so many Qs in this fight, too. There was just the one unfortunate one, but of course they're able to chase this one down and eventually finish off Kobbe.
When they are able to flank together, Vitality do this very well. They found their target most of the time. They got themselves the Soul. They got themselves Baron. And they're now 1,000 gold up at 35 minutes into the game. We're entering, you know, by EU standards, pretty late game territory here. 4 items complete. I mean, look at comp, by the way. 8-0-7. What a statement of an Ashe performance. It all started with a gank from Skeanz very early on in the game, but from then on, he's just not been under threat at all.
And I think it's just it's showing Vitality's coordination in these team fights as well, because Comp is playing it very nicely, but he has 3 giant tanks to try and protect him, and they're positioning in the right ways to make sure he's not really going to be under threat. And now that they've got the Mountain Drakes to stack on top of that, I mean, Comp is a bit of a tank too with his Maw and the Guardian Angel, buffing up those stats as well.
And Dan is going to get caught by the Ashe Arrow. This is bold here, but that's a lot of damage. I mean, with Comp in that Ranger's focus, they got him down to half health in quicker time than I was expecting.
Yeah, Misfits just can't really do anything anymore, especially because it is the Mountain Soul coming through. Febiven doesn't have the burst threshold to actually cut through a Milica or a Comp, and Milica's going to be working on some MR as well. So with the Baron buff up, Misfits can't really force a fight. They just have to try and clear the waves as fast as possible and hope they don't lose an inhibitor.
This is a fantastic Baron power play here from Vitality. They've got themselves 2 towers already. They're now knocking on the doors of the inhibitor turrets. Comp stepping forward, and Misfits, they're just going to wait it out. Now, there is an Elder Dragon in 1.5 minutes time, and I do feel like we're going to have another big fight around there, even though that Mountain Shield is going to be very difficult to deal with. If somehow Misfits can deal with Milica or Comp, those beefy tanks will have a tough time getting through. So let's see if they can find the targets.
Yeah, so the way I'm looking at these fights is I don't think Misfits actually have the ability to reach the backline of Vitality. Like, Olaf is just like so useless at this point. Like, he built Black Cleaver very late into the game because I think he's just trying to make it easier for Kobbe to cut through the front line that's building so much armor. The only way I see Misfits coming back is with an Elder Dragon Steel, because with an Elder Dragon Steel, you negate the Mountain Soul to a large extent. It means that Febiven with a full combo can actually break underneath the quarter HP threshold to get the instant execute as well, and that will be a difference maker.
That'll be the game changer as well for Kobbe to finish off those big targets. 45 seconds. Like, Vitality, I think, have had the better setup every dragon in this game, and right now, they're just gonna straight down the mid lane, and
but Milica isn't here. Why are we doing this? He's not even flanking this time. He's underneath.
Tempered Fate onto Cabochard. Here comes Milica. I think he's still inside the fog of war.
He is.
All the Forge Guards available. Unstoppable Onslaught available. Milica will reveal himself. Chains go a little wide. Goes back to the original. 20 seconds still until Dragon. And Labrov Whew, that was a little bold on that dredge line. But now the wave is going to be counter-pushed towards the middle lane.
Yeah, again, we're fighting once again in mid. Dan gets interrupted and chunked out a bit, but I think Misfits are going to be able to walk this off. Milica, what he wants to do is path down into the Raptor camp, and then Vitality go into the river, and that gives you that collapse, that concave where you can then go for the attack, but you don't want to fight in mid lane, and this is where Misfits are playing it so smartly. By going into Vitality's jungle, Milica no longer has a flank option, and now he's just sort of lost his where to go.
Now follow Febiven and Kobbe. Febiven's cut off from the rest of the team, trying to get the ability for a multi-man stun. The Elder Dragon gets tagged here by Razork. Misfits picking a fight with the Dragon and Vitality. Skeanz is over the wall. Blast gun available and Flash. And now is the engage.
But Kobbe has a QSS this time, so the pick up and dunk into your team is not going to work. It has to be a different target.
All right, Ashe over there catching on to Dan. Febiven using a lot of Dark Spheres inside the Vitality jungle. Caitlyn's going to be able to tag Milica there with the ulti. Elder Dragon down just 10% HP. They're keeping it outside the pit, and it's going to be bouncing back and forth to whoever's closest. But the real engage hasn't happened. Milica trying to get in behind.
Neither team is hitting it for the time being, and they're not going to be able to. With denyk popping that one down, Febiven was looking for a long time how to find comp, but now it's Milica on the back line.
Okay, Labrov will find the dredge line there.
That's
onto
one.
Dan. There's already men taken out. Milica still waiting in the wings. Going to dash over looking for denyk, but that's not
He's
the target
dead.
he wanted. Febiven blows him up. 2 quick kills for Misfits, and they manage to win the stalemate. Now, can they win the Elder fight? Skeanz has got Smite, he's got Flash.
You have to land this, Razork. It's your
They're
moment.
inside, waiting for the reset. They turn onto Skeanz. They're going to look to kill him first and then kill the Elder. Controlled play from Misfits, but man, that tension at the start.
Wait a second, I mean, that was like a 2-minute long fight down there, but in 30 seconds, Baron spawns, and Skeanz spawns in 40 seconds. This may be a massive turning point for this game, because again, now that Misfits have the Elder Soul, they can win these fights, and with the enemy jungler dead, they can turn it into a Baron and so much more.
You can also see how Misfits have adjusted their team fight strategy, being much more aware of the darkness, playing around. When Milica disappears, they back off.
Yeah.
So they've definitely wisened up to the play. Baron is now up. Look at the minimap. 15 seconds for Skeanz. Milica in 3, but I don't think Vitality can really contest this.
Yeah, the other massive thing was Milica did not have a Banshee Veil coming into the last fight, so he got instantly nuked. I think he actually sold his Oblivion Orb so that he could finish that off, because he realizes Febiven just has the one press R button that destroys his flank in the backside. And all these other fights, he's been able to isolate Kobbe, and that's what's been so successful. So let's watch this again, because all these traps from Kobbe are so hard to deal with, and he chains this damage onto Labrov with the headshots. They knock him back. His Aftershock procs on 1 HP, so he gets 0 value out of that one. And then Milica, Febi already has orbs on the ground, and that is literally just a one-click one-shot.
Leading up to the start of that fight as well, when Febiven was waiting in the banana bush by blue, he was just sitting putting spheres on the ground, just waiting. Like, if anyone tries to flank from here, that's it.
Yeah.
Insta-gib, press R. Do not pass go, do not collect another win. Misfits now, with all the buffs. They got Baron, they got Elder, they've got waves to push, and they are now in absolute control of this game. Schalke fans are going to be rejoicing. The number of scenarios in which the miracle run happens goes up with Misfits closing this game out, but they need to get over this final hurdle. And looking at the wave clear on the side of Vitality, not great.
It's a big struggle, because again, Vitality win when they have control of the map, when they can play in the fog of war. They have 3 tanks and a LeBlanc. You're not going to be cutting through waves. They're giving up this inhibitor. If Milica can somehow find his way on the side, maybe then you can fight, but you can't fight into the Elder, you can't fight into the Baron. Vitality have given up full control over the map.
And they may have given up the game here. Dan steps forward. That's the Banshee's Veil pop. So if Milica dashes forward, Febi presses R, no more Milica. Before the Forge God comes up, they're just going to get rid of Cabo. If you get rid of the tank, then there's no front line for Milica and Comp to dance around. Cabo's retreated back to the fountain, and the siege continues.
Yeah, I believe that was the Mikhails from denyk to save Febiven there from the Ashe arrow. Gotta keep your eye on Milica on the side. It's the last hope, but I feel like we're at the point now where Misfits can actually just win, playing off the range and the power of Kobbe's auto attacks.
And look at this, Febiven literally daring Milica to come in. Every time Milica drops out, Febi just steps away to the side. Comp is now trying to get some damage down. That's the ultimate onto Kobbe. He's got Flash. He's going to get caught out by the Tempered Fate. This will buy some time, but now he's surrounded. What is the follow-up? Febiven not going to be able to blow anyone up. Gets caught out by Skeanz. He's taken down. There goes denyk as well. Dan and Kobbe trying to do work as Zombie Cabo is dropped, but Kobbe is still untouched. He's got heal available with Baron, with Elder. He can, win this fight.
Kobbe's massive. All his team is just trying to keep him alive. Look at the punch of those auto attacks from long range. These towers are gone. Vitality have to do something.
Dan is back. Ace in the hole goes in. Comp below 50% HP already. Kobbe using Caitlyn's range to perfection. Gonna sidestep everything. Continues to miss the skill shots. Despite being caught by the ECA, has summon a heal. Turns the attention. Nexus. Comp continues to hammer away. And Misfits take down Vitality.
Misfits came in with a mission. Let's get Schalke to playoffs. Want to knock down Vitality in that one. They go out on a bang in their own right. Some clutch team fighting after a really difficult game to pull through in that one, and like figuring out things on the fly as well. They got punished so many times in a row by Milica, and then they figured out just walk away, make it so he can't find a flank, and they executed in those clutch moments.
I really like seeing the adaptation in game and their decision making. Misfits will close out the summer season with that win. And I just got a notification from our observer team that Ashe actually stepped on the trap that allowed the headshot.
Dead.
Instant headshot. Key player of the game suggestions on at LEC on Twitter. Febi, Kobbe, and denyk. And we will be seeing Misfits in Vitality next year. That's it. It's the last game of the year for them. They're done.
Yeah. They're done. EU Ashe also, by the way. 09 now.
The thing that yes, it is. That was a much better performance, though. And when I'm looking at the number of scenarios in which Schalke managed to make the miracle run happen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 of them remaining. Coming up next, it's do or die for that Schalke miracle run as they face off against Mad Lions in our second game of the day.
Goes forward, perks with the crescendo, with the cleave roam, gets hooked! He's just too far forward, now he's going to put some Abadage! Crucified from Abadage! He has had a dire split, but in this game he's showing up, but Caps is not. He whiffs the shockwave.
If we just focus on our performance first, to like have good games and clean games against the teams, if the gods rule it in our favor, then we will make playoffs and win worlds, but if not, then yeah, that sucks.
Oh man, you've got to take a lot of time to chase Alfari. The Chilling Smite plus the gold card will do a lot, and that will just be about enough to kill Alfari. Shadows escape before he's like the final spark!
I don't think Schalke deserves to be on the bottom place. I think they are better than a lot of teams, but from now it's going to be really hard for them to reach playoffs.
Charged up.
Hello everybody, let the game begin.
Welcome back to the LEC. The Schalke Miracle Run is still alive with this Misfits victory, and they get to end the season on a lighter note. Razork, thank you for joining me.
Hello, thank you.
I guess it was important for you to leave the LEC this season with a victory, right?
I think, I mean, we didn't have a lot of pressure these last 2 matches because we played basically for nothing. We only played this game for Schalke, honestly. And I mean, we gave it all, even though I was actually griefing this game. My team stepped up and actually we got that win.
Tell me about what you talked about with your teammates before going into this game. Like, what was the speech, the general mood? Tell me about it.
Well, I mean, it's a rough situation that I don't think no one wants to be in. And it's like, you just know that the playoffs chance are out. You cannot get there anymore. So you just play for yourself, play for the team, for the org to look good. And just like show respect like to the other teams that they are playing. Just try your best.
You mentioned the team, you mentioned the org, but I mean, it's also about you. And on that note, okay, did you know that your performance coach has been talking behind your back here?
No, I don't know.
Because I had an interview with him before the game today, and he was actually praising you a lot, telling me how much you grew as a player, how much you evolved, and what an amazing player you could become in the first few years. I mean, so is there anything positive you can take from this year and what I told you right now?
I mean, I got a lot from this year.
Yeah.
I think I learned a lot, and comparing Spring Split to Summer Split, I think I'm a different player. I took more responsibility in this Summer Split with the team. I just right now need to like be more consistent with it and make sure that for the next split, I'm gonna be a better player, yeah.
Yeah, Razork, you did an amazing job on your first year, really. I hope you can see that. And is there any words you would like to share to the fans watching you right now, you know?
Well, I mean, it's what everyone says, just thank you for supporting us. And like, even though this split was like a failure for us because we couldn't reach these playoffs, I want you to keep supporting us, and like next split we will do 10 times better, because I will make sure that we will do 10 times better.
No doubt you will be amazing, and I hope you will leave the LEC with a lighter heart with this victory. Thank you very much again for this interview,
Thank
and
you.
Looking forward to seeing you again next season, really.
Yeah. Schalke win.
Schalke win, and we'll say about that in a few minutes actually, because they'll be playing Mad Lions right after this. See you soon.